my refuge and security. God is my refuge and security. God is my refuge and security. Well, thank you. God is. Reminds me of what the woman who scribed this book from Jesus of Nazareth. Her very first contact from him was God is. Had it in a real vivid dream, and after that the voice started speaking to her that she started writing it all down, and Bill Thedford typed it all out for her. Anyway, we appreciate what Helen and Bill brought to us, and we thank Jesus for offering it to us. I'm Willie from the Ozarks. We're ready for lesson 261 in A Course in Miracles workbook for students. We're reading from the original edition here on Monday, September the 18th, 2023. And our lesson today, lesson 261, starts out, God is. Same thing that Helen first received. God is my refuge and security. And the reason that was so valuable for her is because she started out as an atheist. She didn't think there was a God. And then he came in with a very strong statement. God is. God is my refuge and security. I will identify with what I think is refuge and security. I will behold myself where I perceive my strength and think I live within the citadel where I am safe and cannot be attacked. Let me today seek not security in danger, nor attempt to find my peace in murderous attack. I live in God. In Him I find my refuge and my strength. In Him is my identity. In Him is everlasting peace. And only there will I remember who I really am. God is my refuge and security. And the prayer says, let me not seek for idols. I would come, my Father, home to you today. I choose to be as you created me, and find the Son whom you created as myself. God is my refuge and security. In our associated reading, what is the body? The body is a fence the Son of God imagines He has built to separate parts of Himself from other parts. It is within this fence He thinks He lives, to die as it decays and crumbles. For within this fence He thinks that He is safe from love. Identifying with His safety, He regards Himself as what His safety is. How else could He be certain He remains within the body, keeping love outside? The body will not stay, yet this He sees as double safety. For the Son of God's impermanence is proof His fences work, and do the task His mind assigns to them. For if His oneness still remained untouched, who could attack and who could be attacked? Who could be victor? Who could be His prey? Who could be victim? Who the murderer? And if He did not die, what proof is there that God's eternal Son can be destroyed? The body is a dream. Like other dreams, it sometimes seems to picture happiness, but can quite suddenly revert to fear, where every dream is born. For only love creates in truth, and truth can never fear. Made to be fearful must the body serve the purpose given it. But we can change the purpose which the body will obey by changing what we think that it is for. The body is the means by which God's Son returns to sanity. That's what we can change it to. The body is the means by which God's Son returns to sanity. Though it was made to fence Him into hell without escape, yet has the goal of heaven been exchanged for the pursuit of hell. The Son of God extends His hand to reach His brother and to help him walk along the road with Him. Now is the body holy. Now it serves to heal the mind that it was made to kill. You will identify with what you think will make you safe, whatever it may be. You will believe that it is one with you. Your safety lies in truth and not in lies. Love is your safety. Fear does not exist. Identify with love. and you are safe. Identify with love and you are home. Identify with love and find yourself. And let's take the idea with us today. God is my refuge and security. Be sure to do the best you can at your morning and evening meditation as soon as you can after you get up and before you go to bed. Read that little portion that we just read and sit in the silence and let your thoughts be still. And let the Holy Spirit speak to you. God is my refuge and security. And then throughout the day, do as you can to bring the thought to your mind every hour and find something to be thankful for. Be thankful to the point where you bring about a smile on your face, right? Or in your heart. Happy heart shows a happy countenance shows a happy heart. Doesn't it say that in Proverbs? Okay, let's go back and look at our text. We're ready for the symbol of the impossible, which is in chapter 27, section 4, the symbol of the impossible. And I like to think of this section as peace from the power of oneness. And we'll get into understanding that here in a minute. While you're turning there, let me tell you about what's going on around the world today. Chiropractic Founders Day, Fast of Gedalia, Fast of Gedalia, and that's a Jewish holiday, and it's from dawn to dusk fast, and you can read more about it out of Jeremiah 52, maybe 30 specifically, but Isaiah 52. And it's when the assassination of Gedaliah, king of Judah, in about 528 BC. And then there's also Gedaliah, just Gedaliah, which means made great by God. And then there's First Love Day. And I know that First Love Day, you know, when you get those wonderful feelings when you first meet someone and your guys' partnerships are started. Well, you know, it reminded me of something Jesus said to the Ephesians in Revelation chapter 2:4. And Jesus told the Ephesians that he told them he appreciated everything they were doing, but he had somewhat against them, that they had lost their first love. And we don't want to lose our first love for our partner or for God. We want to keep that sense of appreciation and overwhelming appreciation alive always. Okay, you can do that. That's what we're learning how to do by practicing forgiveness, not letting any clouds of judgment come to obscure our love. Ganesh Chaturthi, and that is a holiday in usually India mainly, but it's a Hindu holiday. And it celebrates the god of prosperity and wisdom, symbolized in Ganesh, the elephant god. Hug a Greeting Card Writer Day, International Read an eBook Day, National Ceiling Fan Day. And I might mention on Read an eBook, I like to listen to like on different platforms that have where you can listen to books read. You can get a lot read when you're just traveling. You might keep that in mind. I listen to Course in Miracles and a lot of other books I like to read just while I'm driving. National Ceiling Fan Day, National Cheeseburger Day, National HIV, AIDS and Aging Awareness Day. There's a lot in that one. National Respect Day. Of course, we want to respect everyone all the time, don't we? Respect for the Aged Day, U.S. Air Force Birthday, World Bamboo Day, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. I'm sitting downstream a little further than I was yesterday and the day before on Hickory Creek before its confluence with Shoal Creek. And so World Water Monitoring Day. So, we're kind of monitoring Hickory Creek, looking at it. And I would encourage you to definitely know your watershed that you live in. And you might even start a watershed organization or association with your neighbors and people that want to monitor, protect, watch the watershed. I'm all about really tuning in with watersheds. at least know your watershed. World Bamboo Day. Well, let's look at it's in the family Bambusia, and there's 115 genera of bamboo and 1,400 species. Some that do good in my area, the Zone 6, is the Philostachys genus, and one species is vivax. And of the vivax, those varieties will reach down to 21 degrees below, or 21 below 0 centigrades, and they'll also reach down to, which is -5 degrees Fahrenheit, which takes care of most of our winter. If it gets colder than that, it'll kill the tops, but the bottoms will come back, generally. At least that's been my experience. So in Zone 6, and these three I'm getting ready to tell you about are all edible. There's these three cultivars, the Chinese timber bamboo, which is the Huan Guinzu cultivar, and then there's the yellow grooved bamboo, which is the Aristachus. These are all vivaxes, and then there is the black bamboo, which is Iversa, is the species. Like I said, they're all edible. And actually, I understand that all bamboos are edible, but some, there's things you have to do. There's a nice website that there's 110 that are very good to eat, that are grown for their young shoots, even though in a pinch any of them could be eaten. But there's 101 varieties that are actually good to eat, that are grown for the edible. Some are delicious, some fair, there's different. And I found that on gaduabamboo.com. That's spelled G-U-A-D-U-A bamboo.com. I'll put it in the description below. And those are species that you can eat. And this other one here is a Philostachys nigra, a Henon, and they grow in Zone 6. I don't know that they get quite as cold hardy as -5, but it says of them that they bloom every 120 years, and they're due to bloom again. Remember, this will be worldwide because they're all from the same rootstock, basically. You could think of them as clones. And they're all going to bloom in about 2028, and there's about a 4-year window there. And some have already bloomed a little already. And unfortunately, the ones that have bloomed so far didn't make seeds. And if none of them make seeds, that within 3 years they'll die out. We're hoping that they make seeds as they go along, because there's a lot of people dependent on that particular bamboo around the world for food and products. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you? I found this on wikifarmer.com. The mineral content of bamboo shoots has numerous health benefits. Regular consumption of bamboo shoots can help regulate blood pressure, support healthy bones, and aid in wound healing and promote healthy digestion. So there's your bamboo. And that's the Philostachys is the genus we just talked about, both the vivax and the nigra. The nigra variety that is going to be blooming is the Henon cultivar. And I didn't get its common name. That may be the black bamboo, but I'm not exactly sure. Check that out yourself. Okay, wikifarmer.com. Good stuff there. Okay, let's go take a look. Bring with you all day today. God is my refuge and security. And in chapter 27, starting paragraph 29, Section 4, the symbol of the impossible. Like what I said, and I like thinking of peace from the power of oneness. So think about that as we read this. Power cannot oppose, for opposition would weaken it, and weakened power is a contradiction in ideas. Weak strength is meaningless, and power used to weaken is employed to limit, and therefore it must be limited and weak, because that is its purpose. Power is unstoppable to be itself. No weakness can intrude on it without changing it into something it is not. To weaken is to limit, and impose an opposite that contradicts the concept which it attacks. And by this does it join to the idea a something is not, and by this does it join to the idea a something it is not, and make it unintelligible. Who can understand a double concept, such as weakened power or as hateful love? Paragraph 30. You have decided that your brother is a symbol for a hateful love, a weakened power, and above all, a living death. And so he has no meaning to you, for he stands for what is meaningless. He represents a double thought, where half is canceled out by the remaining half. Yet even this is quickly contradicted by the half it canceled out, and so they both are gone. And now he stands for nothing. Symbols which but represent ideas that cannot be must stand for empty space and nothingness. Yet nothingness and empty space cannot be interference. What can interfere with the awareness of reality is the belief that there is something there. Wow. The only thing that'll get in the way of reality is the belief that something else is there, in opposition to its power, its oneness, its creative ability. Paragraph 31. The picture of your brother that you see means nothing. There is nothing to attack or to deny, love or hate, or to endow with power or to see as weak. The picture has been wholly canceled out because it symbolized a contradiction, which canceled out the thought it represents. And thus the picture has no cause at all. Who can perceive effects without a cause? What can the causeless be but nothingness? The picture of your brother that you see is wholly absent and has never been. Let then the empty space it occupies be recognized as vacant, and the time devoted to its seeing be perceived as idly spent, a time unoccupied. Okay, that's be the way to see it now. That's what forgiveness would at least do, would help us to realize that we're actually seeing nothing, and we're going to quit trying to put our interpretation on it for a moment. Let there be a clean slate. And look what's going to happen. Paragraph 32. An empty space which is not seen as filled, an unused interval of time not seen as spent and fully occupied, becomes a silent invitation to the truth to enter and to make itself at home. That's what we want, isn't it? No preparation can be made that would enhance the invitation's real appeal. For what you leave as vacant, God will fill, and where He is, there must the truth abide. Unweakened power with no opposite is what creation is. For this there are no symbols. Nothing points beyond the truth, for what can stand for more than everything. Yet true undoing must be kind. Yet true undoing must be kind. And so the first replacement for your picture is another picture of another kind. And then what's that other picture? It's still a dream. It's still a picture. It's a picture of forgiveness. The open-minded approach. The non-judgmental approach. The eyes of Christ. Paragraph 33. As nothingness cannot be pictured, so there is no symbol for totality. Reality is ultimately known without a form, unpictured and unseen. Forgiveness is not yet a power known as wholly free of limits, yet it sets no limits you have chosen to impose. Forgiveness is the means by which the truth is represented temporarily. It lets the Holy Spirit make exchange of pictures possible until the time when aids are meaningless and learning done. No learning aid has use which can extend beyond the goal of learning. When its aim has been accomplished, it is functionless. Yet in the learning interval it has a use which now you fear, but yet will love. 34. The picture of your brother given you to occupy the space so lately left unoccupied and vacant will not need defense of any kind, for you will give it overwhelming preference, nor delay an instant in deciding that it is the only one you want. It does not stand for double concepts, though it is but half the picture and is incomplete. Within itself it is the same. The other half of what it represents remains unknown, but is not canceled out, and thus is God left free to take the final step himself. For this you need no pictures and no learning aids. And what will ultimately take the place of every learning aid will merely be. And what will ultimately take the place of every learning aid will merely be. Forgiveness vanishes and symbols fade, and nothing which the eyes have ever seen or ears have ever heard remains to be perceived. And the last paragraph to finish this section, 35. A power wholly limitless has come, not to destroy, but to receive its own. There is no choice of function anywhere. The choice you fear to lose you never had. Yet only this appears to interfere with power unlimited and single thoughts, complete and happy without opposite. You do not know the peace of power which opposes nothing. You do not know the peace of power which opposes nothing. You know, when you realize that everything's in harmony and integrated, well, then you can be at peace, because you see that everything that has power is working in harmony with everything else that has power, and nothing else exists. Brings us back to what our lessons began, or the text began. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So you do not know the peace of power which opposes nothing. Yet no other kind can be at all. Give welcome to the power beyond forgiveness and beyond the world of symbols and of limitations. He would merely be, and so he merely is. Okay, let's go back and look at our lesson 261 again. God is my refuge and security. I will identify with what I think is refuge and security. I will behold myself where I perceive my strength and think I live within the citadel where I am safe and cannot be attacked. Let me today seek not security in danger, nor attempt to find my peace in murderous attack. I live in God. In Him I find my refuge and my strength. In Him is my identity. In Him is everlasting peace. And only there will I remember who I really am. God is my refuge and security, and the prayer says, let me not seek for idols. I would come, my Father, home to you today. I choose to be as you created me, and find the Son whom you created as myself. God is my refuge and security. 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 What is the body? The body is the fence, a fence the Son of God imagines He has built to separate parts of Himself from other parts. The body is a dream, the body is the means by which God's Son returns to sanity. The Son of God extends His hand to reach His brother and to help him walk along walk along the road with him. Now is the body holy now? Now it serves to heal the mind. Love is your safety, fear does not exist. Identify with love and you are safe. Identify with love and you are home. Identify with love and find yourself. God is my refuge and security. 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 Thank you again for joining me here on the banks of Hickory Creek, studying A Course in Miracles workbook for students. I'm so glad you joined me to learn to practice forgiveness, to walk in your true power of love that created you and that you now create with. God is my refuge and security. God is my refuge and security.